That, I think, was the original idea, and it's different proposals that I've seen circulated have done that with a series of banners really clustered at each end, as well as on the each end of, I think, Story Road, and then on McLaughlin, kind of offset as you come into the intersection. There's been other proposals that have clustered it at the intersection itself, and it's just a matter of looking at what exists in the public right-of-way of room to do these, or is it something that's going to happen on the private lands? Recognizing we can't do things right at the intersection because of the signals and traffic safety concerns. So of how to balance those, and so there's been a lot of discussions going back. So right now I couldn't tell you what the solution's going to be. We're going to go through and try to find something that really anchors,
but it's to really give it a prominent identity is, yes. I guess what we're saying. Okay.
That's the goal.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Chu.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank all the community members who are here today, and I'm glad to see that Lee Town, you gained some of the strength. You look much better. I also want to thank the leadership of the council members, Liccardo, Mayor, Vice Mayor, as well as Madison Nguyen to co-sign the memo to bring to a temporary sign. I'm in full support of that proposal. However, I'm a little bit confused of the process to get us where we are at this point. When I got elected to the council, I understand there is already a process in place to recognize the Vietnamese Americans, their contribution to the city of San Jose, and also were named as a district with certain name. And I understand there's a community meeting taking place, there's a survey done, and then we took a vote on November 21st with more than 1,000 people here at the City Hall supporting Little Saigon. And then there was a huge rally that probably more than 10,000 people participated in the Rotunda area. And then on March 4th, there's more people came out and spoke in support of the Little Saigon. And then in my motion of naming that district Little Saigon got substituted by Councilmember Liccardo's motion. And then just a few days later, there seems to be a softening of hearts, that people are more acceptable to the name Little Saigon. So I'm just was wondering that what made the cause of softening up the rejection of Little Saigon. And I also wanted to know to find out if there's any material discussion that was held behind closed door that you wanted to disclose to the public. I know there was a private meeting that you 3, 4, 5 of you went together and come up with this proposal. Is there any other material fact that you think we should maybe sunshine it to the community?
Well, let me just say that in the process of trying to put together this compromise, I started immediately after the last council vote, speaking with as many sides to this controversy as I could find who were willing to meet with me. They were not all willing to get in the same room to have a discussion about a compromise, but so I did what's called shuttle diplomacy. And I talked to a lot of people and came up with assistance of Councilor Liccardo and Vice Mayor Cortese with the memorandum, the agreement that's attached to this. But I probably talked to dozens of people on this issue. The leadership, certainly, of San Jose Voters for Democracy, the leadership of Our Voice, Vietnamese American Community of Northern California, Vietnamese American the Federation of Northern California, and as many people as I could, including Councilmember Nguyen. And so that's how I went about trying to come up with a compromise, and I appreciate the assistance of the other council members who were involved in that. But when you're putting together a compromise that tries to deal with lots and lots of issues, you have to talk to a lot of people and I certainly did, and I know that Councilmember Cortese, Councilmember Ricardo, and Councilmember Nguyen were also talking to people in the community. Vice Mayor Cortese.
Let me just clarify. And I think the question probably specifically pertains to the execution, if you will, of the agreement, the signing of the agreement, which you described in the outset of this item tonight. When we started this portion of the meeting, you indicated that several people had signed it, and some of those people were here to speak. That signing occurred on the 18th floor of City Hall in a public conference room, and many members of the media were there. It was very public. In fact, I'm sure that many of you who are in the audience here today saw photographs of the mayor sitting next to Lee Tong signing the document. So it did not happen in secret or in a private place. It happened right here in City Hall. And I was just acknowledging Councilmember Shu's concern, because it's a legitimate concern. In my case, and I just want to, the spirit of full disclosure here, I did not have any discussions prior to that morning with Mayor Reed. I had one phone call from General Ben at 2:19 a.m. on my voicemail, encouraging me, to go to the 18th floor that morning and participate in the signing of the document. And I did talk to Councilmember Ricardo by phone the night before, because he wanted to ask me if I had any concerns about the general direction that he was going in. I do know that private party Michael Liu, who happens to be a constituent of my district, had a great deal to do with input on this agreement, but I actually did not talk to him until after this was all over about it. So just to give you, who I talked to is a pretty small universe of people leading up to this moment. Thank you for asking the question.
Councilmember Ricardo.
Thank you, Mayor. To explain the first part of the question, the softening of hearts, as the Mayor described, the Mayor had been working very hard to try to bring various parties together. The concept that Vice Mayor Cortese had discussed several months ago with me, and I know with others, really it was pretty clear that the idea had to come from the community. It couldn't come from the council, that it had to be brought up and supported by the leadership in the Vietnamese American community. And so there wasn't a window of opportunity, it seemed to me, where we actually heard that idea offered previously. When Michael Liu had talked with Tien Nguyen and others about this compromise, it became more apparent that there was a real opportunity here, and that was after the March 4th vote. That was several days after that. And so that's when it appeared to me that there was a window of opportunity, and certainly it seemed to naturally dovetail with the efforts that the mayor had already embarked upon. With regard to my conversations, I think certainly I spent a lot of time on the phone with Michael Liu. I had face-to-face meetings with several members of the Vietnamese American community, including Tien Nguyen, as late as the afternoon before the signing, and certainly spoke with individuals within the Brown Act, specifically Councilmember Nguyen, Vice Mayor Cortese, and Mayor Reed.
Anything else, Councilor Chu?
Thank you very much for the clarification. I just didn't know that the money was the issue. We never had an open discussion, regarding to who's paying for the sign. My understanding is that we have $100,000 budgeted for the sign. But thank you very much for the clarification. And at this moment, I would like to make a substitute motion just to make the sign a permanent sign. The reason being that it is much easier for the Vietnamese community to go out raise money if it is a permanent sign. I know it's difficult for them to go out raise money if just for 3 years. And secondly, once we make it into a permanent sign, then I'll be able and we'll be able to go to the state government to have some permanent sign installed on 280 and 101 like they did in Southern California, Little Saigon exit. that will definitely bring a lot of through, fast traffic to San Jose, will generate more business for the district and definitely more tax income to the city. Second, thank you. Thirdly, I think with a permanent sign that we actually will be able to put this issue to an end, sooner than later. I know eventually we might come up with a permanent sign with additional effort on the city staff or even additional money from the city coffer to go out to do the research and to do the outreach. So the things that the council does agree that little Saigon is more accepted. Is that what the term it is? So I would just like to make a substitute motion to make it a permanent sign.
First,